Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world. This is Flosstube number 11. And the first thing we're going to start with is a giveaway. Today is Saturday, January 27th, and my birthday is on Monday, January 29th. And for the giveaway, I asked you guys in the last video to guess how old I'm turning on Monday, January 29th, and whoever guessed correctly would have a chance at 2 patterns. The patterns are Wool and Flax by Brenda Gervais and Beatrix Pierre 1891 by Reflet de Soie. And I don't think I pronounced that right, but that's okay. Sorry about the glare, but I'm not going to open it because it's brand new in the package. So I don't want to, destroy it. So I asked you all to guess how old I'm going to be turning on the 29th because it is a milestone birthday for me. In retrospect, it might have been a little dangerous to ask that. But actually, the responses I got were not bad. And when I tell you how old I'm turning on Monday, maybe you'll understand. But I want to tell you what the guesses were first. So 2 people did guess correctly. Exactly 2. And I have exactly 2 patterns. So we do have 2 winners. The majority of you guessed that I'm turning 29 on the 29th. There were 11 of you. 9 of you guessed that I'm turning 32, and 8 of you guessed that I'm turning 28. You were all wrong. But one person guessed that I was turning 39, which I thought was really rude. I'm just kidding. But she said, I can't be mad at her because she said, you look like you're 29, but I'm going to guess 39. I don't know where she came up with that, but no, I'm not turning 39. And then Sharon, my lovely Sharon, she guessed that I was turning 21. Bless your heart, Sharon. Bless your heart. That was the youngest anyone guessed. The next youngest guess was 25. So Sharon, bless her heart. Bless her heart. But honestly, bless all of you because only that one person guessed I was going to be turning older than I actually am. So I guess it's a good thing I don't look old for my age. But I'm actually turning on the 29th. I'm going to be turning 35. And I have my driver's license to prove it to you guys in case you think I'm lying. But let me make sure I'm blocking out my info. I've lived in Colorado for 2 years this month. Yeah, this month, 2 years. I still have my Kansas driver's license. And look, it's a terrible picture too, guys. Terrible. But anyway, there's my birthday. 1/29/83. So 35. I'm turning 35. I can't believe it. I work in the OBGYN field. I mentioned that in my first video. I'm a nurse. And when you turn 35, if you become pregnant after you turn 35, or if you will be 35 at the time of your delivery, you're called advanced maternal age. So even though I don't have kids, and even though I don't have any plans in the near immediate future to have children, I just always think like, oh my God, I'm advanced maternal age now. So anyway, so 2 people did guess 35. And they were Maritza Figueroa and Debbie Duarte. So I'm going to be contacting both of you. Maritza said she would take either pattern. And Debbie, she didn't specify. So I think I might check with Debbie, see which one she wants, and then Maritza will get the other. But if I don't hear back from one of them, or, it doesn't work out, then I suppose whoever guessed 34, which it looks like 2 people did, Since they were the next closest, they'll be my backup winners. We'll see. So anyway, a little bit of fun. Okay, so let's do some haul. I don't have very much because I did tell you guys last video, I'm not supposed to really be spending money anymore. And I've really tried not to. But we went up to Estes Park over the weekend, and they have a yarn, they have a store there, it's called the Stitchin' Den. It's right off the main strip. I think their primary focus is yarn and knitting and crocheting. They have tons of that, but they do have some cross stitch, not a lot, but they do have some. And what's really cool about their cross stitch is that it's stuff that you don't tend to see just anywhere. I mean, they have quite a bit of Mill Hill kits, but otherwise they have a lot of kind of original stuff that you don't just find everywhere. A lot of the Colorado landscapes and flowers and mountains and things like that. So it's still worth checking out. You're not going to find tons and tons of cross stitch, but it's still worth like popping in and seeing what they have. They don't have a lot in the way of floss. So really just patterns. They have a lot of floss, but it's more for, I think, what's it called? Like the embroidery. It's not stuff I would stitch with necessarily. But they also have a lot of I don't know if it's called painted canvas, but like the cross stitch or embroidery that already has like the picture printed on it, and then you fill it in with thread. They have a ton of that in there too. But I did find a little something. They had several patterns. Sorry guys. This is all tied together, by the Victoria Sampler. So I got this one. It's called Woodland Babies Christmas Tartlets, and it comes with all the floss. You know, it has like the thread and bead pack that comes with it, but like I just thought they were so cute. And then it came with the tins also. So that's my one cross stitch purchase. So I think I've been pretty good. But I did find something else to buy there because I think I mentioned this in a previous video. I want to take up knitting this year. I'm a little hesitant because I don't want to cut into my cross stitch time, which is generally like when I get home from work and after dinner, like just relaxing, I like to stitch. And I want to, of course, keep doing that, but I also really want to learn to knit. And so that's a goal I have. So I walked around and I just, you know, I don't know anything about knitting. I mean, I like anything, guys. I don't know anything. So I just like walked around and was like, that's pretty, that's pretty, that's pretty. And I ended up finding a big hank of yarn that was gorgeous, and I bought it. And it wasn't like a skein like you see, you know, at the craft store, like a little skein. It was like a big hank. And so, like, to tell you how little I know about knitting, I get up to the front and, you know, I buy my stuff and I pay. And she's like, do you want me to spin this for you? And I'm like, do I want you to spin that for me? Like, I don't know. And she's like, well, you can't stitch from this. It'll just get all tangled up. She's like, we can spin it into a ball and then you can stitch from that. And so I was like, okay, yes, please do that. So she goes over to this big contraption, like this big wheel thing, and she puts the hank on it and starts it spinning, and next thing I know, I have this beautiful cake of yarn. So that's what I don't know how well it's gonna show up, but it's got lots of like beautiful subtle changes, really pretty. It is, again, I don't know anything about yarn, you guys, so this may mean something to some of you. It's a brand called Mushishi, and it is 95% wool, 5% silk by Plymouth Yarn, and the color is called Stained Glass, and it says to use a size 7 needle, so it's a little bit finer, and it's approximately 491 yards. So I bought that because it's pretty, but don't worry guys, because I'm not silly enough to like do my very first project with my big, expensive, beautiful yarn. Like, I know better because I don't know what I'm doing yet. So don't fear. I bought some cheap yarn from like Hobby Lobby, Michael's, or Joann's, or whatever, all of them. I bought like, I'm looking at them now, I bought like 10 skeins of, you know, the acrylic cheap stuff, just for learning. And then once I know what I'm doing, I'm going to move on to my beautiful, beautiful hank of yarn. Hopefully, if I take to it, hopefully hopefully I do okay with it. I am going to like use YouTube tutorials and books and stuff. I don't know. Hopefully I can figure it out. Otherwise, turns out there are so many knitting yarn stores around here. There's like 3 within a couple miles of my house. So I can always go there and take a class if it's not catching. So, okay, what else did I get? Just a little bit more haul. So I ordered a bag from So Much to Love on Etsy. And I ordered it a couple weeks ago, but it finally came in. It is gorgeous. It is an Outlander bag. Look, it's so pretty. Look at the little zipper pull, the little felt heart. And the back is just the same fabric. And then the inside is just a really pretty, like, simple little floral. So I ordered that for my chatelaine Alpine Garden Mandala Outlander version. So I'll be moving that into this beautiful project bag. So pretty. I think I actually ordered this before the new year, before I decided like to stop spending so much money on cross stitch stuff. So it doesn't really count. So that's all the stitching stuff I got, guys. Like that one little Victoria sampler kit and the Outlander bag. So that's pretty good. I do have an order from 123 Stitch due any day, but all it is some floss that I needed for the Ingleside Imaginarium Guardians of Notre Dame stitch along. And then I bought one little baby pattern that I just had been in my wish list for a while and I wanted it, so I bought it. So that's not too bad. The other thing I wanted to show you guys that's absolutely not stitching related at all, but a new kind of obsession of mine is I bought some stuff for brush lettering. So that's just a style of really pretty handwriting. But I wanted to show you because this was really exciting to me. There is a lady, her name is Kelly. She has like an Instagram and she has her own website and it's called Kelly Creates, and she does this beautiful brush lettering. Well, now she has her own line for Michael's. I think it's exclusive to Michael's. And so she sells, like, she has these workbooks, which have like these kind of practice sheets to, like, you know, learn the fancy lettering. So I bought that, and then she has her own brand of brush markers, and I bought those too. And here's what I want to say. If you have any interest in learning brush lettering, or you're planning to try, invest in good markers. I bought the cheap ones, like the Michael's brand, I think it's called Reflections. They are absolutely worthless and just a total waste of money. You can't actually do the brush lettering with them. They're absolutely worthless. So these are amazing, or the Tombow markers are also great. So if you want to do that, I highly suggest just use the 40% off coupon, pay the $15 for the good markers. All right, so let's get to the stitching. Woohoo! So first, I'm gonna re-show. I showed this in my first video, but somebody in the comments asked me about it, so I'm gonna show you guys pulled it from behind up here. Someone asked me for a close-up of this. This is last year's Stitch Along. And then you could customize this. They gave you like 11 different options, or you could make up your own. And I made up my own. Although this Freddie Mercury is from Cloud's Factory, from her little pattern of Queen that she did. And I stole Freddie from that pattern. But I did the wording on my own. Not that, you know, it was that hard to do or special. But anyway, it's, someone asked to see this. So here you go. I don't know if you can get the pattern right now. But I know that at least once or twice a year, they do have something like called Amnesty something, where they will put up their old patterns on their Etsy and you can buy it. So I would just follow them on Etsy. They're called Steotch, Steotch. And then hopefully like you could get your hands on it at some point. So there you go. Okay. I have really been wanting to start all the things. I have a couple new starts. So after my last video, I said I was going to dive into my bin of fully kitted, ready to go projects. And I did. And here's what I picked. I've been dying to get to this one. Ink circles, get cracking. And I bought all of the called for, it calls for silks, by Gloriana. But the reason I did go ahead and buy them all is because it's only this many. Like, it's not too many, so I don't feel like, what is 8? 8 of them. So I thought, you know what, fine. I can buy 8 silks. It's not like it's 40. I'm stitching this on 36 count. Picture this plus Serene. And I am absolutely in love with this, you guys. In love. I did not want to stop. Oh, sorry. That's what I've got done so far. I did stop finally, but I didn't want to, because if you guys have stitched with silks, you know what a treat they are. And Gloriana silks, oh my God, they're just gorgeous to stitch with. Just absolutely gorgeous. I just love this. I did not want to stop. And I think I got pretty far in just, I think this was 3 days of stitching. I think I did pretty good. Look at that, the crown, the little bird, the ships, and then the tentacle stuff is the kraken. So it's beautiful. So pretty. So I've been dying to get to that, and I finally did. And then the other thing, when I was in Estes Park, and then I went to Winter Park. My brother was in town for the weekend, and so I didn't get a ton of stitching done for those 3 or 4 days. But I did want to take something like small and portable with me. So I took the Mill Hill Buttons and Beads Christmas Village bookseller that I started during my 12 Starts of Christmas. That's what it looks like. And I think I got a lot done, but at the same time, I'm sort of like, God, that's all? Because the other Mill Hill things like stitch so fast, but this one's a little bigger. It's taking a little longer. So although I made great progress, I was sort of like, oh, I thought I'd be almost done. So that's what I got done in a couple days. So what I had done, all I had done before was just the bench with none of the background. And then I had like just a couple like things of red, just a little bit of the red. So I got all of this done. So that's primarily what I worked on. because we were up there Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, and then came home Tuesday. So then I got home and I was like, well, I don't want to work on that anymore. And I really wanted to do more on Get Crackin', but I thought, well, let me try something new. So someone on Instagram, I don't remember who, I'll be honest, but somebody on Instagram started this one, and I've had it in my stash and been meaning to get to it. So it just, seeing it like started kind of, I was like, I want to stitch that. So I pulled this one out. It was fully kitted up, ready to go. I just had never started it. It's the Heartstring Samplery Magical Elixir Series Part 1, Coffee Saves Lives. It's hard to see, but in here it says Coffee Saves Lives. And then the rest is just like ABCs and stuff. And I thought, you know, it was kind of a big pattern. It might take a while, but once I actually started stitching it, I'm like, oh, this will go pretty fast because, you know, letters go pretty fast. I'm using all the called for threads. I'm stitching this on 32 count lamb's wool by Witchelt. And here's how far I got. And there's my Gilmore Girls needle minder from A Needle Runs Through It on Etsy, not affiliated. Love her products. And that's where I got. So this lamb's wool witch gel is so stiff. If you've ever tried to stitch on it, it's kind of hilarious how stiff it is. I mean, it's hard to even show it, but a lot of people don't like it because it's so stiff. It's nothing like a Picture This Plus or like a nice soft linen. It is linen, but it's very, very stiff. But I kind of enjoy it because I don't know, it really holds up well in the Q-snap and gives you like a lot of tension. And I kind of like stitching on it, even though it's not that soft, luxurious linen that I usually tend to like. I kind of enjoy it. So, okay, so those were so 2 new starts and 1 whip. So those are the 3 things I've worked on. But I wanted, like, I want to start all the things, guys. I don't know. I want to start everything. So I guess this is like the year of starts. It wasn't necessarily my plan, but that's kind of what I'm into right now. So you already know on Monday the 29th, I said on my birthday, I want to start my Chatelaine Marie Antoinette, which I've had for a while. I'm finally ready to start it. I'll show you guys. I've showed you guys before, but I'll show you one more time. Here's kind of a cruddy picture of it. But I'm going to do it, that's on a black. I'm going to do it on this dark purple. It's French Lilac by Picture This Plus. It's 32 count Belfast. It's a little darker than I thought it was going to be, but it's okay. I can live with it. So that's going to be my start on Monday. So excited. I'm using all the called for, like Petite Treasure braids and silken colors and water lilies, all the beautiful stuff. Oh guys, I totally forgot at the beginning to tell you guys. I wanted to show you my shirt. So it's just a black, like, gauzy shirt, but look at the sleeves. They're cross stitch. Look. And I assume they're machine stitched, but I mean, they are literally cross stitched, like crossed X's. I got this at Marshall's for like, I think I splurged. I think it was $29.99, which is pretty pricey for a shirt there. I know it's not pricey for a shirt in general, but it's pricey for a blouse from Marshall's. But hello, had to have it. Both sleeves. So, I love it. Love it. I don't know if you'll all be able to find it. I'm sorry. The tag says the brand is called Spence. S-P-E-N-S-E. If anyone wants to go on a hunt for it. Okay, back to stitching. So I'm definitely starting the Marie Antoinette mandala on Monday the 29th. Absolutely, that's my birthday start. But there's a few other things that are calling to me too, guys. So first of all, I want to get back to a couple whips. So I pulled a couple out because I think with all these new starts and all these big projects I'm working on, I think I really need a finish just for motivation. So I want to get back to the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Happily Ever After because I'm almost done with it. So I want to pick it up. Maybe today, I don't know. I want to finish this bad boy. Because look, I'm on the bottom row. That's all I got to do. I'm doing this on 14 count. Charles Craft, the sparkly stuff. They have a silvery one and a gold one. This is the silvery one, but then I did hand dye it a little bit. It's probably not showing up super much, but there's a little bit of purple and blue added on it. But yeah. You guys, I'm so close. Like a few days maybe and I could finish this. Although honestly, these little blocks have all taken me a little longer than I thought. Like I always think like, oh, I could stitch this in 2 days, and then it ends up being like 4, you know, for each little block. But even so, I think like a good week and I could finish it. So I'm going to try to do that in the next week or so. Kind of just knock it out and get a finish. Why not? And then the other whip that I pulled out, I mean, a lot of them were calling to me, but the other one that I was like, oh, I really want to get back to that is Little House Needleworks Old Nantucket. And here's how far I've got on it. I'm stitching it on 36 count Lakeside Linens in Lentil, and I absolutely die for this fabric. I love it. So here's how far I've gotten. So almost half the page. Maybe I'm being optimistic. There's a little more. Okay, that's not almost half the page. I still have to fill in the house and the roof. And then I think there's some stuff on top of the house. But yeah, I've been wanting to get back to that. I haven't stitched on it since summer, so I'm going to get back to it. I'm using all the called for floss, but again on Lakeside Linen Lentil, which I love, love, love. Okay, so those are my whips I want to get back to, and then here's some stuff I pulled and kitted up today. Well, some of it, this was already kitted up, and then the rest I kitted up. But things I want to get to. This is an Etsy seller, which I can't even pronounce it, guys. It's such a funny name. It's like, I don't know where it is. It's XRY. It's something crazy. XRESTYK. Xrestique. But it's a Harry Potter pattern. Always. I almost pulled this out instead of Get Crackin', and then I was like, nah, I'm gonna work on Get Crackin'. But I'm gonna convert. I think the blue is absolutely gorgeous, but I wanted to do something different, so I'm doing it on Fiberlicious Velvet Sky Stitchy Box exclusive. And I converted all the blues to gold and brown DMC. I pulled all the blues and then I pulled all my golds and kind of matched them up in what I thought was the right tone and depth and shade. So yeah, I'm really curious. I think in my head it looks amazing, but we'll see how we'll see. Hopefully it does truly look amazing when I actually start it. Okay, and then I kitted up a couple things today that I want to get started on. I'm not saying I'm going to start all of this in the next week before my next video or whatever, but just some things that are kind of catching my eye. So Little House Needleworks, Needlework ABCs. You guys have probably seen the winter one recently. There was also an autumn one. This one isn't like seasonal. It's just kind of no season. Really pretty. I'm going to use the called for threads, but I did convert one. Pebble Beach was the same color as my fabric, so I converted it to Barrel Cactus, but otherwise I'm going to use all the called for threads. And I'm going to stitch it on this mystery linen that I got from our craft thrift store. I told you guys about it in one video. It's called, oh my God, my mind just went so blank. Oh, Craft Box. It's called the Craft Box. And it's a store in like East Denver where it's all like consignment craft stuff. So there's cross stitching, yarn, sewing, quilting, scrapbooking, like everything. It's awesome. And their prices are phenomenal. And I bought this mystery piece of linen. I got a ruler out. It's 32 count, but I don't know anything else about it. But it's a long, weird cut. So it's perfect for needlework ABCs. It's actually too long. I only need like, you know, almost half of it. So yeah, I only need half of it. So I'll have some left. Maybe I'll do the autumn ABCs on this. I think this color would work for that. Anyway, I paid like $3 for that. Works for me. And then so I'm in the Jane Austen Sal, and I started the Little House Needleworks, the bookshelf, because it specifically calls out Sense and Sensibility, and that's what we're reading in January and February. But then I put it away. I mean, I want to get it back out, but I don't know. I put it away, and I have finished since the book, and so I thought maybe I could start a second pattern. So I'm thinking I might do the Sampler Girl. It's called Jane Austen to Eleanor's Room. The verse is, Eleanor went to her room where she was free to think and be wretched, which is from Sense and Sensibility. And these, I mean, this will stitch up in a day or two. 1 day of intense stitching or 2 days. It's not much to it. So I might start that, maybe. But then the last thing, okay, so Pam from Just Keep Stitching has been working on this. I bought it. I hadn't even kitted it up. It was just sort of like, oh, I definitely want to stitch that someday. I'll buy the pattern, but you know, not anything I plan to start really soon, which is why I didn't kit it up at all. But it's Plum Street Sampler's Heritage Sampler. And so Pam has been working on this, and now, by God, I want to start it. I want to work on it because it's so pretty. But I don't have like any of these, like, I have a couple, but I don't have many of these threads. And I don't want to wait for an order and blah, blah, blah. So I've been digging through my stash. I've come up with 3 of the colors. I'm pretty sure I have I think I have 2 other ones. It's not enough. I was hoping I had these in my stash, but I totally don't. So I only have a couple of them. So I think what I'm going to have to do is either totally sub out or maybe start with the few colors I have and jump around a little bit and then order the rest. I'm a little impatient, and I am trying to do stitch from stash, and I do have a stash of threads like Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, Weekest Dye Works. So I might pull the DMC conversions and see if I can get close in other brands, and see if I can make some subs, just so I can start it, so I can be like Pam, who's my stitching superhero. I love you, Pam. I'm going to stitch this on the same thing I'm doing that Nantucket sampler by Little House Needleworks. This was left over from there. It's a Lakeside, is it Lakeside Linen or, yes, Lakeside Linen 36 count lentil. I'm going to do it on that. It's a nice neutral with just a hint of a little bit of green, like very, very subtle, very little hint of green. but there is green on this pattern in the leaves, and I think it'll complement nicely. Again, just trying to use my stash and not go buy a bunch of stuff. So that's why I'm using this cut. One thing I showed on my Instagram, I went through all of my whips and my kitted up projects, just everything. I went through them and I found that I had tons of fabric that was like just sitting there unclaimed. Like on this Little House Needleworks pattern, I had, you know, I'd bought this huge piece of Lakeside Linen 36 count lintel and started stitching it up, but I only needed half of it. So I had this is the half, like I literally cut it in half, and then I have a whole nother huge piece, you know, and it was just sitting in my project bag, like unused, because, you know, I was going to finish stitching that and then see what, you know, cut off what was left or whatever. So I went through all of my projects. I like got the cross stitch calculator out. I measured how much fabric I would need, and wherever I had like a lot of excess fabric, I cut it off, and reclaimed it. And so now my fabric stash is phenomenal again, because I have all of these pieces, and some of them weren't huge pieces, but like at least enough to start a little project or an ornament. But a lot of them I had like a good chunk of fabric left. So I'm gonna start some stuff. I think that's what kind of got me excited to like start all these new projects, was I was like, look at all this fabric, woo! So anyway, pro tip, go through your stash and cut down your huge chunks of fabric that you don't need the whole thing, and start some other projects on all that beautiful fabric. Okay. Whew. Kind of tired, guys. I'm ready for lunch. I think that's all I've got. I'm pretty sure that's all I got, because my pile is empty now, and my cheat sheet is now at the end. So I guess that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope I'll be back soon, and we'll see if I got to any of these new starts. I mean, I'm gonna get to at least one or two, but how many did I get to, and how far did I get on them? Watch next time and we'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.